dead. What's up, guys? So today we're going to be working on the Kfx700. As you can see, it fires up, but it does not run. And whenever you're having issue when it will fire up, but once you turn the choke off, it shuts back down. Usually the carbs need cleaned. A jet or something's clogged up, because if you are choking it, you're obviously not letting a lot of air go through, which lets it run. But once you open it up, not enough fuel is going in to help with all the air. So usually if that's what happens, or if you smack the throttle and it just dies like that, usually something's going on with the carburetor. And these, actually, the carburetors are right underneath here. The air box goes in, carburetors here. Technically, I actually took this off. See the carbs up in there. You can actually take this off and do it without taking the carbs off, but we're going to give it a real good cleaning, so we're going to take them off today. Okay, once this cover's off, you can see right there you got one clamp, you got one on the other side, which is kind of blocked by the cables here. Here's your throttle cable right here. You can leave that attached right now until it's out. Also, don't forget to remove your idler screw, which goes down underneath here and connects on the breather tube down here. So don't forget that. Fuel line's off. We'll unhook the two clamps underneath and pull these carbs off, and then I'll show you how to take the throttle cable off itself. Alright, once the carb's up out of it, make sure you plug the intake so you don't get any junk in there. If you didn't drain the bowls out, which are those right there, if you didn't drain those out, you're going to get gas everywhere here. So that's what's going to happen to me because I didn't even think about it. Either way, this is where the throttle cable is located. So you take the Phillips head out, this cover's gonna come off, and then you're able to get into and take the cable off, and you gotta unscrew it and pull it all out. And then the carbs ready to come out on the bench and ripped all apart.
Yeah.
What happened?
Not well. Not really good.
Smooth. Nice smooth welding. You want smooth welding. Okay. What you want to do is throttle it up. Take it off just like so. And then, I don't think these will work. I'll see if I can break it loose. Get it? Okay. So you want to leave the top one kind of where it's at so you know the setting point. It's really close. And that's it. Take that off here. And it's nice because a lot of the older quads, these actually they come off in the carb. And you can just shove it back in that hole there, but these are nice because they stay on the cable itself, so you don't have to worry about losing that piece. And we got we got the choke cables here that we're going to take them off as well. I totally forgot about those. So yeah, let's get these things off here. Take the choke cables off, which is a Phillips here, a Phillips here, and then this whole bracket they push out this way, and then they're out. As you can see, there's the choke cables, and they're out of the carb. Let me see here. See right there. 1, 2. Put the screws back in so you don't lose them. And now we get to rip these apart and clean them all up. Fun, fun, fun! See what Ryan's doing. What's up? Is it working good?
I'm getting frosty as soon as I close up the hole.
Yep.
Right there.
Yep, that's what I know. I know what you mean. Looking sick. Work in progress. Work in progress. Good. Good, 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 good. Nasty. Have the carburetors on the bench, getting ready to rip them apart. Usually, if you're going to do a complete full cleanup of the whole carburetor, like everything you can imagine, you want to take all these plastic pieces off. You want to take these caps off, which we might take these off just to show you, but they got little diaphragms underneath them, and then that's where the needle comes down through and then come down into the bowls. What we're doing is we're going to check we are going to check the jets in each one, and see if there's any clogs, and that's probably going to be the issue why it's not running. And again, if you're doing these, just do one at a time. You can do two, but you got to make sure you keep them separate. But I'm just going to do it one at a time and do the right side and do the left side, and then what you need is, I have this one kind of full of carb clean. You're going to just throw the jets in there once you get them all out. Throw them in there, let them soak, make sure they're clear, and we should be good to go. Also, I need to clean this up. This is a little delete, so it doesn't have the coolant running through here. I deleted that on this quad. I need to put another cap on this and clean this out. But either way, I'll show you how this is. We're just going to show you how to do one. The other one's pretty much the exact same thing. So we'll just do a video on one of these, and we should be good to go. Okay, so we're going to do this one here. And these are Phillips head. A good idea is if you're going to rip into these and really tune these carburetors, to actually replace these with Allen head bolts. They don't strip out as easy. These ones, they kind of tend to if you get them too tight. So just a FYI, if you would, like I said, you can tune these, you can do all this while it's on the four-wheeler too, but I actually might just rip these completely down and clean them. Whoop, drop that on the floor. Don't do that, don't drop your pieces. Okay, so take this off. Okay, so what we got here is you got your float right here, and that's what allows the fuel in and how much fuel. Once the fuel gets full where it needs to be, the set point, it'll actually push up, because this is actually upside down, but it'll push it up, and that seats, I'll show you the needle in here. It seats that and won't let any more gas in. But right here we have the main jet, we have the pilot jet. I'll have to get a flathead for these and get these out and look through them and see if we got a clogged jet in either one of these. Alright, the Phillips or the flathead, you gotta watch, be very careful. These are aftermarket jets. These are bigger because I got that exhaust and the intake on it. Don't do that. You can blow through it, and that looks, you probably won't be able to see it at all on this, but this one is 100% clear. We can also take this off and blow through it, but if that's clear, I'm going to put it back in, and then so I don't lose these little pieces. Well, you know what? Just for kicks and giggles, I'll just throw it in there with the carb clean and let it soak. It really doesn't need to, but why not? And then we'll take the pilot out. And this, if I'm not mistaken, I think I actually put a bigger set of pilots in this as well, because I used to have a crossover intake on this, which that changes the tuning up a good bit. But let me check this out. Okay, this one is the pilot, so it's going to be a way smaller hole going through it. And this one is also clear. I'm just going to let it sit in there too. What you can also do is once it's all ripped apart, you can take these off. You know what? We'll just take these off too, as long as while we're here. Towel. And you can take the seat, the float and the seat out, the needle, you see that here. And if you're, once you have everything back together and you turn the fuel on and the fuel starts coming out these, you got to watch. Sometimes these either don't seal or they're out of adjustment and they just keep letting fuel go through, and then they'll go over the overflow. So keep an eye on these, make sure they're nice and clean. We can take this off too and clean this all out, but really this carb looks pretty darn clean. I was actually surprised. So either way, I'm going to clean this all back up, put it all back together. I'm going to pull the top of the carb apart, and we can look at that, the diaphragm and the needle there too. All right, we got both bowls, everything cleaned back up. The pilots, or the slow jets, actually looked, they were a little dirty. I blew them out. You can use compressed air to blow those out, and make sure the air, you can use compressed air also if you have some. You can blow out the passages too through the carburetor, and that'll help make sure everything's nice and clean and clear, because just a little bit of dirt in those passages here throughout the carburetor, that'll cause some issues. So just be gentle. You don't need to put a lot of pressure through it, but you can use a little bit of compressed air to help clear out the lines or the passages. Like you can see a little, I don't know, yeah, like a little passage there on both. Yeah, really hard to see, but you can make sure those are clear and they're blowing through smoothly. But now, like I said, I think we're going to take these off, and I'm actually pretty sure I put spacers. I forget what number it is. I used to have crossover intakes, and I think I put spacers in each one of these to give it a little bit extra fuel, and I think it's running a little too rich right now, so I'm actually going to rip those off and put it back to the factory location. That should help out a little bit on it running, because I think it is a little too rich right now. This is what you get. Let's see if it'll focus a little bit better. Wow. This camera is not nearly as good as I thought it was going to be. Either way, here, you can push up with your pinky, get this out here, then here is your needle, okay? And way down in there, it's really, you won't be able to see it on the camera, I guarantee it. No. But there is my spacer. It's a little brass spacer. I just moved it there. It should fall out right here. And that raises it up a little bit, gives you a little bit extra fuel for tuning. Wow, this camera just does not want to focus at all. Sorry guys, but either way, that's what that is. So we're actually going to put it back to factory, as in this setup, and put that back down in there. And that's it. I mean, there's not much to this at all. And then the spring, you can see that right here in the corner. This is actually, I cut this. I think I cut like one link off. I think that's what it was, and that helps with like throttle response or something. And then also like shining these up and they're a little dirty now, but I'm not gonna mess with them. But shining these up and polishing them, that makes them slide a little easier. Gives you a little bit of throttle response. It's kind of the easy, cheap, free mods that you can do. So that's it. And make sure you're putting it all back in the same way. This goes right here, as you can see. So I'll put this back in. You gotta get it lined up like so. And make sure this is seated, and make sure there's no rips in this diaphragm. They can get brittle after time. This is a 2009. The last year they made these, and this doesn't really have that many miles on it at all. But either way, you got to be very careful that you don't rip that or tear that or anything of the sort. Okay, and then you just put this all back together and tighten it down. We should be good to go. I'm going to do the other side. It's going to, both sides had that little brass bushing or brass washer. So I'm going to have to take the other side off too to keep everything nice and even. The jetting, when you have the factory intakes, not crossovers, they actually do take different jets. You tune it per cylinder. I have the Super Pro, the Muzzy Super Pros on, but still, I mean, the tuning is, you got to tune it correctly. The air fuel mixture, screw, and everything. It's pretty much set on where I like it, but we'll probably have to adjust it now, being that I just changed the this fuel. But either way, guys, that's it. I'm going to take this off. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's about it of cleaning a carburetor. It's very, very easy. After you do a couple of them, they're all, I'm not going to say they're all basically the same, but they're very similar. They do make some different carbs for like the race bikes, like 450s and stuff. Like they make different carburetors that a little bit different design, but a lot of them are this way. That they got the pilot jet, the main jet, and just make sure everything's clean and make sure the passages are nice and clean as well. And if that's the case, then you're good. You can put everything back together and you should be good to go. Again, that's the biggest thing, is make sure everything is nice and clean, and be very careful that you know where you're what you're taking out and where it goes. But yeah, other than that, guys, let me get this thing all cleaned up, and then we'll catch back up with you. So that was a little bit of a longer video. I wasn't expecting to be that long, but either way, if you guys lasted through the whole thing, you guys got hopefully some intel on how to clean these carburetors. They're not very hard at all, but either way, some people don't know how to do it. Don't pay the dealership to do it because it's very, very expensive. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I say, I gotta throw these things. They're all done. I gotta do them for this one too, but I gotta throw this thing back on the four-wheeler and get this thing moving. I kind of hurried up and rushed that job. So if I missed anything, don't be afraid to leave it in the comments. Don't give me too much crap for it. But either way, this is actually the next one. We're gonna do a complete check of this side-by-side. It's a Honda Pioneer. It needs oil change. It needs check the brakes, everything. It just needs the first looking over, and that's going to be the next video. It's going to be checking the valves, checking the clearances, checking, yeah, pretty much everything. He wants everything checked before he starts riding it this summer. So, but yeah, I mean, that's the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope to see you on the next one. Again, if you guys like this, give it a big thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. It's fine. I'll take whatever credit I can get. I'll keep working on it. I'm using my phone as my new camera. My GoPro just isn't quite working, so you'll see the zooming thing just isn't working. It's not focusing at all, so I apologize for that. But hope you guys enjoy this one. I hope I catch you on the next one. God bless.